This presentation, Online Classes, How They Work and What to Expect, is part of our Adult Learner series here at Wayne State. This is one of our Friday chats from July 24th, 2020. I am Amber Neer. I am the advisor for Work Your Way Back and Adult Returning Student Programs here at Wayne State. So in short, I am a navigator, kind of a concierge service for adult students looking to either return to Wayne State or maybe who haven't attended college before and are first time in any college, but older students. Again, helping to make that transition to the university. The best way to reach me is through my email, which is on the screen, and by scheduling a phone appointment, and the link is there as well. Scheduling an appointment is better than just giving me a call. That makes sure that we have plenty of time dedicated to answering your questions. Like most folks, I'm working from home right now, and so it can be difficult to find time throughout the day if you just may not answer the phone right away. Unless it's an appointment, then I can set that time aside. So there are a few different formats in fall 2020 for courses that you may not be familiar with. Every course will fall into one of these formats. If you're not sure for whatever reason, contact your instructor through your Wayne State University email. It's important to use your Wayne State email because not all instructors will respond to personal email addresses. So your Access ID is the best way to get a prompt response. So the first format here are the traditional on-campus courses. This is what you're most familiar with coming on campus for a designated time, day, and specific location. So we're still going to have, at this point, as of this recording, some campus courses. Not every course will be available on campus, but some will. And those courses that are on campus will incorporate social distancing guidelines. Like online courses, and even on-campus courses prior to the pandemic, it's very important that you still have access and utilize Canvas and email regularly. You should be checking both at least once a day. The second kind of course format are the online or asynchronous courses. So this is a more traditional online course that's very convenient. You can complete the course material any time of the day or night, whatever works best for your schedule. So if you have an unpredictable work schedule, this is a great option for adult students. So everything will be completed online. There aren't any specific meeting times, so you have a lot of flexibility there, but there are still going to be due dates for your assignments. So it's not self-paced in that sense. The third kind of course are the online or synchronous courses. This is a bit like a mashup between the on-campus and asynchronous courses, and that everything will still be completed online. You won't need to go onto campus, but like a face-to-face course, there will still be designated days and times that you need to be available for virtual sessions. So if you're going to be, going to State Hall on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 2 to 3:30 to go to a physical class, maybe for these synchronous classes, you'll have to be available and present for a Zoom session on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 2 to 3:30 instead. So you're still required to attend those virtual sessions. When you register for courses, you will see there's a difference in these, and make sure you're available when the time says. So just because it's an online course, you still may need to be available at certain times. If you're already registered for courses, so maybe you registered when registration opened earlier in the spring, definitely go back and check your course schedule to see if anything has changed. As we all know, as we're moving through the pandemic, things change, plans change, so it's very possible that your course format may have changed since you've registered. It's unlikely that it would go from online to campus course, but it may have gone from a campus course to online, whether it's synchronous or asynchronous. To do that, you want to pull up your individual course schedule and click on the title, then the instructor and meeting times. The link to do that is on the screen. And I'm also told there's going to be some more communication coming from the registrar next week through email, so keep an eye out for that as well. Again, if you're not sure, always double check either with me, your department advisor, or email your instructor. Regardless of the format of your course, you are still going to need a reliable computer and reliable internet access. Even if your course is a traditional campus course, most likely it's going to have more components that are online this semester. If you don't have a reliable computer, maybe consider upgrading. If that's not a possibility, or you don't have a computer at all, you'll want to reach out to the Dean of Students office. If you're not sure how to do that, ask me and I'll hook you up. Well, they are going to have more information about how to acquire laptops, how to borrow laptops, because it's very important that you have that access. There's also going to be some access on campus for internet usage. So for example, the undergraduate library will have limited hours to use their resources. And Wi-Fi is available in certain places around campus like it used to be. But if you're planning to come to campus, call ahead to make sure where you're planning to go is still open. Not all areas of campus are open right now. So for example, I've heard of more students going to the parking structures and staying in their car to use the internet. Not ideal, but it's also a very safe way to social distance. So that's certainly an option available to you. There are also community resources that can give you very discounted rates for home internet service. Again, if you have questions about that or not sure where to go, shoot me an email and I can send you the contact information there. If you've taken courses recently at Wayne State, you should be familiar with Canvas. This is especially important if you're doing any kind of online courses in the fall. Most courses use Canvas as a primary means to deliver course content. It's our learning management system. So you'll be using it to take exams and quizzes. That's where the instructors post grades, course materials, the syllabi, things like that. If you're taking a campus course, your instructor may not use it very much, but most instructors do to some extent. If you aren't familiar with Canvas or never used it before, maybe you just want to learn more about how it does work, some of the great features, there's a free online course through the Wayne State website. The link is on the screen, so you can take advantage of that as well. I always recommend that students begin checking Canvas for course updates at least 2 weeks before the start of the class. If it's that early and your instructor still hasn't activated or started anything, that's okay, but it's still a good idea to keep checking. Sometimes instructors will have information or kind of like pre-course assignments that you want to have done before the class formally starts. So keep that in mind and start checking early. Again, you should be checking your email and Canvas regularly. If the first day of the course arrives and you haven't heard anything from your instructor and there's nothing available on campus or on Canvas, please send me an email and send your instructor an email so we can find out what the problem might be. It's not normal for an instructor to not have anything available on the first day of course. I'm going to go through a couple tips for online learning. These come from our Learn Anywhere website, so these are available to you through the Wayne State website. The link is on the bottom of the screen. I'm just going to go over these real quickly because I think they're so incredibly important. The first is to stay connected when you're online, doing the online learning. So take advantage of office hours. Don't lose track of your social life too. It's important to have that work-life balance. Sometimes when we're stuck inside all day, you know, working on assignments, working on your work responsibilities if you're working from home, it can be easy to lose track of time and kind of lose track of other folks too. So it's important to keep in touch again with your instructors, your advisors, your classmates, coworkers, friends, family. Stay connected to stay healthy. You also want to plan ahead to prevent future stress. Study blocks are a great skill or a great facet to incorporate into your schedule. But we'll see that when you're doing online learning, especially if it's an asynchronous class, it's a little bit more up to you to complete the coursework. Sometimes it can be easy to procrastinate because you don't have that accountability of going in every week to have an instructor give you lots of reminders, classmates reminding you. There's just less accountability with an online course. That doesn't mean that you're alone in your course, but there's a lot more self-responsibility that has to go into that time commitment. So plan ahead. The first thing I like to do when I start a new semester is to pull out all of my syllabi that have all of the due dates. Not every instructor has that information at the get-go, but those that do, I'll pull out my old-fashioned planner, paper planner, and mark down the due dates for all of my assignments, all of my exams. So that way, if I have, if I find that for whatever reason, week 5, I have 2 exams and 3 papers due, I can plan for that early and not have quite as bad or stressful of a week. The Study Skill Academy does have a procrastination accountability group, which is a great feature to take advantage of and to stay connected while you're at home. So you can look for them in the search toolbar on the website. Very near and dear to my heart is to make and keep your academic advising appointments. Your academic advisor, especially your major advisor, is a go-to for all of your information about what you need to do to graduate. If you're a Work Your Way Back student, part of your contract is to meet with an academic advisor or other advisor at least twice a semester. So that could be twice with your department advisor, twice with me. Ideally, it's at least once with both of us. And that's something you need to stay current and active in the program. Sometimes, again, when we're home, it's easy to forget some of these phone or virtual advising appointments. So it's important to keep them. If for whatever reason you have a difficult time getting in touch with your department advisor, let me know. Traditionally, most advisors schedule their appointments through AdvisingWorks, but right now, because we're working from home, not all departments are using that functionality. So if you don't know how to find them, or if you can't get them through email, let me know and I can work on that for you. And one that I always forget is to be sure to incorporate some physical activity into your day. Again, it's easy to get really involved in a project, and it can be 4 or 5 hours where you're really invested in an assignment, some reading, and you forget to get up and move. So that's really important to keep your brain active for absorbing information. Just for general mental and physical health, make sure that you get some physical activity into your day. The recreation and fitness centers have a lot of resources available online too, some videos, and I believe they have some live classes too, so you can still take advantage of those resources even though you're at home. Probably one of the harder ones to do is to prioritize sleep. We all know that sleep is great for your mental health. If you get enough sleep, you're going to do a lot better in your classes, retaining information. But when we're stuck at home, sometimes that can be difficult because all the time, at least for me, seems to kind of roll into one. So scheduling sleep, having that time set aside is really important. And to ease some stress, be sure you know your financial aid status. So all of the financial aid office, it's all available virtually. So if you're not sure what your status is, where you stand with your financial aid, check in on that early. We still have some time before the fall semester starts, so now's the time to make sure everything is in line. It's possible you may have some extra documentation to turn in to qualify. If you don't have enough aid through your traditional financial aid routes, hopefully we can find another solution within the coming weeks. So really now is the time to get acting on that. Because of the pandemic, there could be additional funding depending on your situation. So you also want to get into that as well while we still have time, if that's an option. If you're a transfer student, so if you've transferred in credits maybe from a community college or another university, if you're planning to do so in the future, like do a semester or at the community college, the Transfer Student Success Center does have a lot of virtual programming available as well. So if you want to connect with them, you can search for them on the website as well. Most of us as adult learners are here to meet a career goal. Sometimes the degree is more for personal fulfillment, sometimes a combination of both. But it's important to remember that we're all here for a reason, and that's to get the degree. And so that usually plays into our career goals, what our future is going to look like. And sometimes with the uncertainty around us, it can be difficult to see what that career is going to look like in the long run. So having an idea of what you want that to look like, some other options, it's good to keep up the momentum as you're moving through your courses, to keep the end game in mind, because you are going to get, we're working towards graduation, which is our next point here. If you're graduating, our Career Services has a job searching tool unique to COVID and our situation. And along that same vein, you don't have to wait to graduate to utilize Career Services. They're available online as well. So if you wanted to brush up your resume or your CV, right now, even if you're not looking for a job right now, they're definitely available for that. If you're thinking of, if you're reevaluating, whether because you're coming back to school and are changing your career path, or maybe the pandemic has changed what you'd like to do, career services can help you identify a path. Also want to take a quick kind of sidestep to make a note on textbooks. So not all courses require textbooks, and it's not safe to assume that yours doesn't just because it's online. A lot of online courses are still going to require a physical textbook. And those courses that do, be sure to order your textbook early. So I'm sure most of you have heard of the delays in shipping. Amazon is not always 2 days anymore, unfortunately. So if you are planning on ordering textbooks to your home, make sure you do that very early. And so to check what textbooks you need, you can contact the Wayne State University bookstore. That's all available online. And you can use them to verify the books that you need for your class. You don't necessarily need to order from the bookstore. So if you have, if you'd rather order from Amazon or Chegg, or, buy books off of, another student, something like that, you can do that, but make sure the ISBN matches. That's what's really important here. And I want to very quickly go through this fact or fiction kind of myths about online education. And this is adapted from Central Michigan University's website on global learning. The first myth is that online learning is easier. And that's really not the case. Level of ease shouldn't be confused with convenience. So online courses are a whole lot more convenient because generally you have more say when you complete your coursework. You could take an exam at 3 o'clock in the morning if you want to, but that doesn't mean the exam is going to be any easier. Quality online courses are just as rigorous as face-to-face courses, and oftentimes they actually require more time commitment. 2 skills needed for the classroom are the same as online, and that's not necessarily the case either. You are going to need to do more technologically. You don't need to be an expert, but you do need to do, have more control over the technology. You need to have more initiative in connecting with your colleagues and your professors as well. 3, online means on your own, and that's not the case either. While you are taking courses online and you might not have another student sitting next to you or an instructor physically in front of you, Wayne State and a lot of other universities, but I know for sure Wayne State has made enormous gains in the last few months in improving online resources to you so you aren't alone. If this is your first experience with online classes, or it's been a long time since you've taken online classes, they're a lot different than they used to be. There's a lot more technology out there to assist you. Instructors, professors, and your classmates are all going through the same thing. So if you have any struggles with technology or don't understand something, we're not out to penalize you for that. We want to help you through that, and our instructors are remarkably flexible in accommodating you. So you aren't alone. If you do have problems, we can always, with technology, we always have assistance. In your classes, you're going to be connecting with your classmates, still doing group projects, things like that. There's still going to be instructor office hours to take advantage of, so you are in no way on your own. Number 4, due dates do not exist, and that's not the case either. Just because a course is online doesn't mean that you don't have due dates for assignments. So you may have a saying, what time of the day or what part of the week you complete an assignment, but it's still going to be due on the same day. Number 5, you must be a computer expert, and that's not the case either. Especially recently, a lot of the learning management systems have become a lot more user-friendly. So you don't need to have high-level computer skills. We're not asking you to be a computer scientist. There may be a learning curve, but again, we're here to support you through that, and these are skills that are going to help you professionally as well. Because I guarantee you, the web conferencing, phenomenon, or the web conferencing, trend isn't going to be ending anytime soon. This is part of existing in a global society. So we have a lot of resources through our Learn Anywhere website to help you learn the technology. So learn how to use Zoom, learn how to use Teams. It's very likely that your instructor is going to incorporate some of that into your online class as well. 6 online degrees or classes aren't real degrees or classes, and that's not the case either. Like I mentioned earlier, online courses are, they have the same learning outcomes as the campus courses. Your instructors are still committing just as much time, if not more, on you as an individual in an online course. Again, just as rigorous, just a different format. And in a lot of ways, when we're incorporating new technologies, the courses are more dynamic and students actually get more out of them. There are definitely real classes and real degrees. Number 7, I can complete my online course from my smartphone. And while it's true that you may be able to access some features of your course through your smartphone, it's not like you're texting in your course assignments. You still need to write papers. And I guess I don't know about everyone else, but I don't want to be sitting on my phone for 4 hours or 2 hours, an extended period of time, typing with my thumbs out a term paper. And I don't think the formatting would turn out quite as good either. And all that is still very important in these classes. So you're definitely going to be needing access to a laptop or a PC throughout your course. You cannot do it all through your phone. And I'd be hesitant to say you could do it all even through a tablet. Again, if you have a hard time, if you don't have access to that technology, please let me know or contact the Dean of Students office for assistance in acquiring one. Number 8, communicating in online classes like tweeting. And I think everyone knows that's just not true. Just as in a course, you'd be wanting to use complete sentences, proper grammar. When you're communicating with your professional colleagues, that's who your classmates are, your professional colleagues and your instructors. It's important to be, again, professional. No one's expecting perfection, but you've taken all these classes on how to write papers, how to communicate effectively. So let's take advantage of those in all of your classes. Number 9, space is unlimited and anyone can enroll. That's not true either, because space isn't unlimited, just like in a physical course. So we hear a lot about seats in courses. And sometimes that is limited by physical space on campus. So there are literally only 20 seats that can fit into the classroom. And when we move online, obviously that physical factor isn't an issue, but there's still a time factor. So when we're doing an online course, that time with your instructor is incredibly important, especially that FaceTime and virtual chats, or the time that instructor has to dedicate to you through responding to your emails or wherever, phone calls, whatever it may be. You're going to get more time as a student if you have 20 students in your class than if you have 400 students in your class. So yes, that definitely space is limited, so you can have that access to your instructor. And finally, 10, attendance is not mandatory. And that's not true either, especially if you're doing one of the synchronous classes where you need to show up physically, not physically, but you need to show up virtually at specific times. Your attendance is definitely mandatory. Here are a few other resources that I alluded to earlier. So again, the Learn Anywhere site is the best place to get information about how Wayne State is addressing online education and a comprehensive explanation of our resources to support you in online learning. And I also highly recommend the Effective Online Learner Canvas course that again goes over how Zoom works, how Teams works, other information about kind of brain-based science and how to be effective in your online courses, how to connect with your classmates, instructors, things like that. I can't recommend that course enough. I've been doing a lot of online classes and I even found a lot of value in it. So even if you've done some online classes in spring, summer, or before that, I can't recommend this course enough. And it's free, self-paced, so you don't get credit for it, but it's at least worth getting in and taking a look around. I also want to note that nearly all campus resources have been adapted to the online format. There's really nothing that that you were doing on campus that you can't get virtually in some form. So as I mentioned earlier, so Recreation has some videotaped courses, some live courses to do from home. Student Disability Services has some different resources available. Tutoring, Math Assistance Center, peer-assisted learning, accountability groups, all of those things are available in some form virtually. So I'm still going to be recommending them. If there's something that you're using on campus and you still need that service and you can't find it on the website, let me know and I'll find it for you. But everything you're doing on campus, we can accommodate still while you're online. Specific to the adult learner, some resources here. If you haven't already been there, and even if you have, it's a good idea to check back in on our Worry Your Way Back website, so the wayne.edu/worryyourwayback. Right now, that's a hub for all of our adult learner resources. So even if you're not part of the Worry Your Way Back program, if you're an adult returning student, that's where you're going to find a lot of links to some helpful information. That's where we can find all of our videotaped virtual sessions, some links to some other helpful resources, things like that, all on our Wayne State Worry Your Way Back website. We also have a Worry Your Way Back an adult returning student Facebook page. Follow us there to get more updates on and notifications about events like this. I also post information about scholarships or job postings as they are shared with me there. So it's just a great place to connect to. And then I also wanted to post my booking link if you'd like to schedule an appointment with me. So that's going to wrap up this presentation. If you do have questions, again, feel free to shoot me an email. My email address is aneher@wayne.edu. My name is Amber Neer, and I'm here to provide any support I can to you as an adult returning student. Thanks for sharing this presentation, and I hope to talk to you soon.